everybody. Welcome to the K2 podcast. As you can tell, we got a whole new setup here, Jay.
We're in-house?
Yeah, in-house. Great old setup. I appreciate you taking some time to get all this set up. So this isn't going to be the final product, but this is definitely getting the podcast in the right direction with another setup. We got a couple of cameras set up here today. So stay tuned for that. We got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stories to talk about. One thing that was really weird, though, and it's really strange. So Jay, obviously, if I say, hey, where do you think our listeners are listening from? You're going to say, well, maybe the United States or...
Right, I would think
localities. What about planet-wise? And then you're like, planet-wise?
It'd be Earth. Like, where else would you go?
Yeah, exactly. So there's this chart, right? So I'll see if we can get our producer to bring it up. So we got this chart here that shows all the planets of... This is from our analytics page of the podcast.
Right.
Because you can catch this podcast on Spotify, iTunes, and it gives me all this data and where our listeners are listening from. And it breaks it down into state. But I found it weird that it broke it down into planets.
But is it that weird, though? Let's say Elon Musk can go to space.
I mean,
he's a privatized organization, but he's a privatized organization. He's not regulated by the government.
Yeah, I guess they.
So he could start shipping people to Mars. Like, yo, who's trying to backpack out of here?
Well, if we
Earth
were to get another listener from out of this world, I would know about it on this thing.
But think about this though. Like, let's just say you check your analytics and something pops up Mars. Do we instantly go to, hey, aliens are listening in, or could it be some form of radio transwave satellite that picked it up? I mean, it could be anything. It could be. It could be something maybe like a astronaut. It could be any kind of frequency. You know, it technically is a radio frequency.
I guess it's just, I don't know. That's kind of out there. I just thought it was interesting that they don't even put that in the analytits. Like, why is that even like other planets in there? You know what I mean?
Well, all I'm saying is if someone tunes in from Mars, you know, send us some Mars coins.
Straight up.
Some Mars weird. Bars.
So, as y'all remember, Harvey 2.0 should be on the call. Harvey, are you on the call with us?
Harvey's presence is with you.
Yeah, that always freaks me out.
Every
time it's like a sting.
I seen iRobot. You ain't catching me off guard, Harvey. Yeah, you ain't catching me off guard.
Jeez, I don't know what is going on with that. Well, the reason why I kind of wanted to talk about the alien stuff a little bit, and I just want to be very clear here. I should have done the prior research to this, but it's so, what's the word I'm looking for? It's so, I'm not sure what the word is. I guess it's just so difficult to find information about it.
Yeah.
And just say like this.
It's interplanetary communications.
All right, so no, this is what I'm talking about. I'm trying to segue into my next point here.
Sure.
And what the next point is that, so the coronavirus bill, which contained our stimulus checks, right?
Yeah.
So stuffed into that, what people might not know is what was stuffed into that bill is something called a committee comment. So I'll read you the headline, okay? The coronavirus bill, this is reported from Fox News. I think the New York Post did an article on it, a couple others. But it says the coronavirus bill started a 180-day countdown for UFO disclosures. So essentially what it's saying is they stuffed into this coronavirus relief bill a little very small section that went under the radar. And why
would you advertise that?
Well, the thing, what they're trying to say is, they're going to advertise it.
Well, yeah, they're going to declassify.
Exactly, that's what this was snuck in there. That they're saying, hey, we're going to declassify.
But why would you advertise you declassifying federal documentations? You don't want people necessarily. If there is something there, let's just say.
Okay.
And obviously, conspiracy theorists, they take stuff and run to the mills. They just spread the news fast as they can with all kinds of wacky ideas. Mm-hmm. And so why would you advertise, hey, we're going to declassify a bunch of articles and every report we have as, for UFOs? Why would you advertise it? Because, people are going to come looking for it the day it declassifies.
Right.
But those that do care obviously are, like yourself, you obviously know about it. And now our listeners will know about it. And they may, take it upon themselves. And it is something that every human wonders. What else is out there? Everybody wonders one point or another.
Big thing. Well, the reason why no one really knows about this particular part of the COVID-19 bill, like why this wasn't made more public or why didn't people really know about it?
Right.
Well, the text or this particular portion or this committee comment was not included in the text of the almost 6,000-page legislation, but as what is known as a committee comment attached to the Annual Intelligence Authorization Act, which was rolled into the massive bill.
Right.
So it kind of went under the radar. Most people don't really know about it. So it's kind of interesting because essentially we had 180 days from the time it was signed by President Trump, and saying that basically the Pentagon and other spy agencies have to say what they know about UFOs.
I mean, that's exciting.
That is kind of cool, right?
I'm just saying, this is something that's been under the wraps and so mysterious significantly since, 1942, Roswell? I mean, ever since that supposed crash landing.
About Roswell.
Of course
say
not.
It was like weather balloons. Like you hear.
There's been so many different stories, but I mean, even with a weather balloon, I mean, you can't simulate an impact of something so metallic like UFO to a weather balloon. Like, I mean, true. That's so. I mean, you were better off trying to pass it off as a satellite than a weather balloon. Right. I mean.
So Harvey 2.0, since you're on the call with us, what do you know about this? You know anything about this alien life form that might be out there? Are we going to find? Are we going to hear about anything? What do you know, Harvey?
The concept of little green men is ridiculous.
Isn't though?
But he did not deny space creatures or lizard people.
But he said the thought of it would be.
But he said little green creatures.
That's true. It might not be little.
Look at Roger the alien. He's gray.
Roger the alien. What's that from? American Dad?
From American Dad. You see in the movie. What's the new movie that came out recently with Paul? Paul is the name of the movie. He's an alien, also gray.
I haven't seen that.
So, and a lot of some of the more recent alien stories, they depict gray species, not necessarily green. The idea of little green was just more of an animated, colorful look.
That's true.
That's just more appealing to the masses.
That's true.
So, if you're
I just think it's it's hard to believe that if we're a planet and we have this, that we're the only beings out there. It's hard to believe.
But let's think of it like this: planet Earth sustains water.
Sustains what?
Water.
Yes.
All right. How many other planets are really sustaining water that we know about?
Well, they're discovering allegedly new moons.
Allegedly, but we're not able to really reach them, or we have not tried to reach them per se, right? It's not that it's not doable.
Well, what the interesting part is?
People would say we evolve.
True.
So for those that aren't necessarily really big into the religion, and some people do believe in Darwinism and evolution.
Yeah.
I mean, for water is a big part of our mass. That's what we're made up of.
Yeah.
So if evolution is what part of that is, then it is possible we're the only people out there, if our planet is the only one that really is harboring water like this and able to grow bacteria.
Point.
Well, I was just saying, we're growing a lot of bacteria here on Earth, planet life forms. It is very possible that we evolve. I'm not saying,
I don't necessarily go with the whole evolution aspect. I believe we're created by God and in His image, and I don't really get down with the whole evolution standpoint, but
I remain neutral.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
I remain neutral.
Yeah, I don't blame you. But, so just to go on a little bit further, so this particular report that we're talking about with the COVID-19, or this committee comment.
Right.
So what this report must address the following things. Observed airborne objects that have not been identified. So they have to comment if they don't know what they are, they at least have to address the concerns, because there's some things. There's been other podcasts that's had this guy, what's his name, like Lieutenant Fravor, I believe. He was on a couple of podcasts. I want to say it was Lex Friedman podcast.
He's the pilot, right?
He's a pilot,
right.
Exactly. And he saw this object hovering in the ocean. They got their eyes on it. Not only did they get their eyes on it, they have heat, what is it called? The infrared
right.
cameras on it. And so that's an interesting take, because they have this video footage and it literally flies off screen. Like, it goes from really high to really low just above the water, and then they can't keep up with it. And it goes off. They try to chase it down. They try
and that's remarkable, because I imagine.
And this is a pilot for.
Do we have a time frame
military.
on that?
What?
A time frame when the event occurred?
It's not that long ago. But
okay, so it's been modern. So give or take, if it's fairly modern, they're probably flying like F-22 Raptors, something that's quite fast.
Yeah. Oh no, this is
like these are jets. It ain't
tracking technology on board. It's got all these different things.
Yeah,
and they couldn't keep
it's
up
lock
with
on.
it.
Probably couldn't even sustain. As soon as they get a lock, it'd probably dodge.
It was gone.
Right.
It was like and if you watch the podcast, they talk more in depth on it. But they talk about how he's like it almost seemed like it knew we were there, like it wanted us to see it, but not necessarily track us.
It was getting close enough to observe.
Allegedly, I shouldn't say allegedly, but if you watch this guy, he's from the military background.
Right.
He has no reason to put his reputation on the line.
Especially as a lieutenant. I mean,
I believe he was a lieutenant. It could be
it could be like a lieutenant colonel. I mean, there's various titles.
I should have.
Typically, either or in the military, if you don't really fly like as a pilot unless you're an officer. And most officers that are flying typically hold the rank of lieutenant or higher. Okay. However, they do differ ranks between Army and Navy. So, like Navy, one of our highest ranks is officer form is captain. But so, like if he was a captain, that means he could be lower as to where that could be the equivalent to our lieutenant or something like that. But either or, that's quite remarkable, like you said, for someone to go on the record and put their reputation out there and say, I'm a member of the armed services. I was a pilot and I had this interaction. And that's for any person to come out and speak about their experiences.
Yeah. And apparently this started off as a, a training mission. And then that's when they came across this. And apparently have been making appearances for a while. But they have to address observed airborne objects that not have been identified. They also, this should include a detailed analysis of unidentified phenomenon data collected. So any data that they have on file needs to be released.
But how much of that is blacked out?
What do you mean
like
blacked out?
There's so many declassified documents with just a long
black line.
Your whole page says the aircraft was blue.
Yeah,
and that's your whole page.
Well, they have to talk about that. They also have to talk about a geospatial intelligence. I'm not sure what that is.
Geospatial. I feel like that has to deal with something.
Well, they also have to talk about signals intelligence, whether they've received transmissions.
Which that's probably going to be a nice detailed read because I'm
Human
sure
intelligence.
Something.
So I'm not sure what that necessarily means. Maybe what we know about it. I'm not 100% sure.
Human intelligence.
Yeah. And then lastly, it says measurement and signals intelligence, the committee said.
What if the human intelligence ties into like a colony that they've put out on Mars under wraps as part of a spy organization and to see how we can live as a colony on a different planet, such as Mars? We've done a lot of missions on Mars in the past decade.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm just saying, hypothetical, of course. I mean, we don't, there's not, I'm just saying that would be really intriguing to see or hear.
Right. So that's the kind of interesting that was snuck into the bill. I'm going to try to do a little bit more research on that for everybody. Maybe we can talk a little bit more about it as it comes closer to that date, see if I can find the actual document, because and it is reported by, because some people are like, they say that, but how real is it? You know what I'm saying? Are they really going to tell this stuff? Kind of like what you were saying. How much are they going to let us know?
They're probably not going to release a lot. Mm-hmm. They will declassify it, but you're probably still going to have to like send out a Freedom of Information Act to actually get the information. I don't think they're going to publicize it.
It'll be released.
But it's going to be released. Yeah, that's what I said. Somebody's going to, and they're going to pay for it too. Per every page, 10 cents a page. All right, give me the full copy.
Right.
And a binder. Next thing you know, boom, Wikipedia, instant. And now everybody's got it. Thanks, bud. We appreciate your sacrifice for the American people.
Right. So, I mean, that's kind of that. And then also, me and you were talking about this story we came across about, what was it, UFO that allegedly popped up in Hawaii?
Yeah, I believe it's enunciated. It's like Oahu.
Oahu?
Yeah, it's Oahu. So it's like Oahu. It's something similar. Like, we may be misenunciating it. I'm pretty confident we are.
Just straight
but we'll just say Hawaii. We can say that word. But yeah, apparently this woman, I believe, from the video I saw, was just driving and she saw this blue light hovering in the sky, kind of moving around, and she called her family back home and was like, hey, do you see the same thing I see? And they were like, yeah, and they were, probably 20 minutes away, but they could still see it in the sky, So it was definitely a large presence, but, towards the end of her video or somewhere in the video, it just dove into the ocean, and it was
disappeared.
It's just gone. Yeah, just.
So no splash though, or was it too far to tell?
I don't think she was quite close enough for like a splash, and it wasn't like it was a super large craft. Like I said, this is like an orb of a light. You know, on video it looks no bigger than this.
Right.
And it's just bright blue, and you can see it like grow as a streak.
Right.
In a horizontal line, and like so it'd stand up like this, and you'd see it like rise up, and it was irregular patterns for sure on how it's moving, but. This also leads me to believe that it could easily be some sort of drone, like it could be dangling a glow stick or something.
True.
I mean,
Good
it could
point.
be something that
well,
simple.
What we're going to do is I'm going to
not.
actually link this video down in the description so that way people can go check it out for themselves. Right. I would have liked to have played it for the podcast. We're going to get some of this extra stuff that where we can play videos along and you guys will be able to see it. We'll have this
probably
TV. We'll have some really cool stuff set up.
We do have a lot of good plans coming in next month.
So it'll be really cool because we're going to be able to, it's going to make it more enjoyable for the viewers. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
They're going to be able to have like, it's going to be almost, they can interact in some ways and it's going to like, it's just good. I'm really pumped up about it. It's hard to put into words. But you guys, it's going to make it fun.
Even with you guys at home, I'm really excited about this particular article about the Hawaii thing because it's so many things that you can get creative about what something could be. Like I said, it could be as simple as a drone with a glow stick, but you folks at home that are watching, if you have an idea or see something that you may think that, hey, maybe it could be this, drop it in the comments section on the YouTube video where we upload, and let us know what you think on any topic, really. And you'd be surprised at how closely we actually monitor these things, and you shouldn't be surprised if we reply back to you and actually have like a engagement of some sort. So please engage in the comments and let us know what you think. What's your take from home? What's your perspective? So check that video out. It's actually interesting. Right now,
I'm just going to go ahead and plug the show for a second. But right now would be a great time to smash that like button on the video. Give us a thumbs up if you like some of that content.
Yeah, we're actually on the road to 100 subscribers, and that's our new goal. And like I said, we have so much exciting stuff coming this month. Really, we've been very fortunate that viewers like you at home have been tuning in and listening to help us grow. And it's been ecstatic. So we would love nothing more to engage with you guys a little bit more. Like I said, whether it be comments or anything, if you guys have any questions, feel free to check out some of these socials, Twitter, Instagram. You can even email us. So, check any of that out.
So later in the show, I don't want to build up too much here. Does Harvey 2.0, do you have anything else to add on the alien stuff? Do you have any insight for us?
Are they gray?
I think Harvey 2.0 must be getting a firmware update.
He's either getting a firmware update or they cut his speed.
Most apparitions can be explained by pyroelectrical discharges.
Pyro? I'm not even sure what that is.
Does that mean you got a fire outbreak?
What's a pyroelectrical discharge, Harvey?
Electricity produced by rocks.
Interesting. So like a meteor? I don't even know what that is.
But electricity produced by rocks, is that how, we starting fires out here? Flint and stone?
Dude, we're just too dumb for that. The artificial intelligence has got us stuff to. Well, I don't know. Like you said, if you guys got an idea on what this could be, put it in the comments below.
What pyro, electro, whatever he said was. Feel free to explain that in the comments.
All right, so moving on. So we're going to save something for a little bit onto the show. But what I got here, this is called, can y'all hear that ASMR? Is that what it's called?
ASMR. The quality, it's just cringe, probably. That's probably loud.
People like that.
People like
Hopefully
that?
That's not too loud. Yeah, they like it where you crumpling the bag. It's ASMR.
You get like a bag of like a little canister of putty, and you just
it makes noise. Okay, so right here, if you guys can see that at home, we got the Paqui. I'm not sure how you pronounce it.
Paquai
Haunted Ghost Pepper chips. Okay.
Larry's gonna be eating one of those for us on.
I'm not eating. No, this is for.
I thought we decided to go chip for chip.
Chip for chip?
Chip for chip. I'll take one, you take one.
And then we see who
chip for chip.
Out.
And just keep going until you can't take it
anymore.
All right,
so we got the Ghost Pepper chips here. Now, hold on. You said you looked it up on the Scoville list, right?
On the Scoville units, it's just over 1 million Scoville units. Right. And the physical, I know Paqui or whatever, Paqui or whatever, however enunciated, it is a... They do the one chip challenge as well, and that's at what you said about 1.5 million.
Yeah,
Scoville
1.5 million, just over.
So
1.5
one
million.
of those chips is at 1 million. So if we hit one or 3 of them things, we about to be lit up.
I'm worried.
I don't know if I got enough drink in my mug here.
I'm a little worried.
My K2 podcast mug. I don't know if I got enough.
I don't think I got enough. And it's freaking. Oh, I think we need to put like some milk.
We're gonna need a PA. We need a PA to do a milk run.
Oh my gosh! Our producer behind behind the screen, he might have to go get.
He's gonna be dead laughing at us on the floor.
Oh man,
he's gonna be done.
So brutal.
He's gonna have to go into the green room and just laugh out.
We're gonna save this till the end, though. So we're gonna do this haunted ghost pepper chip. We're gonna save this. So tune in to the end of the show, so we can do this. We're gonna go chip for chip. And the reason why we have to save it for the end, because when he bitches out and can't handle it no more, when he can't handle it no more, he can't take it. Then
we're talking to a man sweats eating ketchup. He's gonna beat that bitch out. I get the mild wings. No, you might as well go ahead and get the honey barbecue. Yeah. We already know.
We're gonna try. I'm gonna say it right here for you, buddy. Don't you worry.
Oh, might as well pop one now.
Oh man, I'm just worried about the next day. I think I can handle it for the night. It's
the stomach is gonna be tight. You want to get an ulcer or something in there? It's gonna be hot. Oh, I'm not looking forward to it.
I'm not either. So I don't want to keep riding this whole vaccine thing.
It has been a trending topic for
the
past 2 episodes.
But it seems like it's constant stuff coming.
Well, that's what the media is putting into every television set or article you can scroll by. Especially here in Virginia.
So here's the headline, okay?
Okay.
Rogue pharmacist is arrested after 57 people get a compromised vaccine.
Yeah.
57 people got a compromised
intentionally
vaccine.
Compromised.
It was.
Well, I just want to say, I want to make sure people know it was intentionally compromised. He didn't receive them compromised and then distribute it.
What freaks me out about that is that goes to show you that somebody could just put whatever the hell they want to.
Oh, easily.
So you don't even know if you're getting the vaccine. You're just going off on faith.
No, you could be getting straight placebo. I mean, not even sugar placebo. Water.
It could be sugar. I mean, you not even sugar. You could put literally anything in.
Oh yeah, you could
just pumping.
Next thing you know,
just going on faith, trust.
And next thing you know, the opiate crisis is worse than it is because you're chasing the dragon instead of getting your COVID vaccine.
Shit, that's sketchy. But 57 people, that's a huge chunk. Now this dude.
I mean, it's not 500,000, but 57 people in one locality is dangerous.
57's all we know about.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's all we know about.
That they can guarantee. I'm sure they've tracked his past listings.
Which is interesting, and this is another interesting thing. They did not release this guy's name. So it says officials did not name the ex-employee, but he was a pharmacist who was terminated Wednesday after allegedly admitting to deliberately removing 57 vials of the COVID-19 vaccine from a refrigerator, then later returning them.
But is that not public information?
What do you mean?
If he was charged with a crime, is that not public information? Like, you could find his name. It's not it'll unless they blacked it out or something. Like, if it's some kind of but I don't understand why. Like you said, it's interesting. Why black out this person's name?
Yeah,
we don't do this unless it's for
because they're probably
maybe while he's in custody or he's not. Maybe they haven't arrested him yet, but they are charges brought up or are they seeking charges?
It goes on to say, but we did obtain a roster of inmates from the Azuki County Jail, and it showed that a Stephen Brandenburg had been booked on Thursdays on charges of criminal damage to property and endangering safety, both which police say the pharmacist in question is facing. So they connected it. They're like, okay, you booked a guy on these charges.
What I was just saying. Exactly. It's public information. All you got to do is look.
But it says the removed doses may have been weakened outside the refrigerator. Were given to 57 people before the error became apparent. Officials said the people who took the affected doses have been notified. There's no indication that they were harmed or harmed or be hospitalized for this. But
that sounds very dangerous to receive half of a vaccine. If he's dosing it down,
you have to receive half because you know what the vaccine.
You don't receive half. What it is they give you the vaccine, but it has a booster thing. It kind of helps you out. It helps your body combat and build the antibodies to fight the vaccine.
Yeah, and
it's a booster shot is the second pot. Yeah, that's the booster.
But they're going to say police are investigating whether or not the former pharmacist's motive, what his motives were. They have not yet officially filed charges against him.
So that's probably why they left the name out.
He's currently being held on recommended charges of first-degree reckless endangering safety and adultering a prescription drug and criminal damage to property, all of which are felonies.
So he altered the drugs.
But, he didn't really alter. They don't know because they're like, why did you remove them? Why'd you remove them?
That too, because once they are taken out of the fridge and stuff, they can't be put back.
That's
you can't refreeze those vaccines.
Yeah. So that's the interesting part about it. But we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm not really sure. I'm kind of going to pay attention to that. I just thought that was kind of interesting on that whole aspect. Like somebody's fooling with these vaccines. That's kind of sketchy.
Right. It's extremely scary. I mean, what if my child or your child or anyone's children have received a altered dosage of the vaccine? Right. That's terrifying. You don't know what could happen. You obviously would want to go get a medical opinion that from someone not altering them, and doctors probably don't know. They could just say, hey, just let us know if anything changes.
Right.
It's
really weird. And then, so Biden, I think they did go out and finally, I think the Electoral College went ahead and submitted their votes for Biden.
Have they done that? Yes. I thought they were still looking at challenging.
Well, they may. I think they may have an opportunity to appeal it or something along those lines. But they did put in the votes. I think they have to actually be confirmed or something. I'm a little ignorant to that.
Well, I know they confirmed them, but I think they are, still, like I said, trying to work towards the appeal because I know Ted Cruz is actually leading quite a few other members of Congress into appealing the Electoral College, like you stated. So I know they already had confirmed the electorals, but I don't know. Like I said, they're trying to overturn a lot of that.
Well, this is the thing here. So the Secret Service is planning to make changes to the presidential security detail before President-elect Joe Biden comes to power. Reason being, why do you think they would do that? Why would you think they would switch it up?
The Secret Service?
Yeah, like when Biden takes off, why do you think they're like, okay, let's switch up the Secret Service?
I mean, are they switching out the detail of Secret Service or like
the security detail?
The security detail.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I would assume to prevent any form of bias in your detail. You want them to be hired for. Well, they're putting their life on the line for the president, so you might want to get a whole new thing because the previous people may not be partial to Joe Biden and can't dedicate their life to that. You're actually
on target. So it says that they're looking at changing up the security detail before President-elect Joe Biden comes to power amid rising concerns that some current personnel may be Donald Trump loyalists.
But see, can you really say Donald Trump loyalists? We should all, as American people, be loyalists to POTUS, period.
Unfortunately, whether you like,
I'm just saying, whether you like the person or not, during my time in the Navy, I would hear people all the time. Barack Obama was president at the time. People all the time were like, "Hey, screw this guy, he's trash." Right. Even if I liked him or didn't like him, regardless, he was my commander in chief.
Yep.
Period. Yep. That's end of line. There is no two sides about it. If I'm out of uniform, then maybe I can have a little bit of looser conversation with like you, for instance, or somebody I know, but. It is not something for you to go on the record. It was like the one girl who, in uniform, chose not to stand for the national anthem. That's the most disrespect you could ever give in the uniform.
We definitely talked about that.
Right, but I'm just saying, like, you're in uniform. That is your role, and period. So it really kind of bothers me that there are some people in the Secret Service that don't respect the level of POTUS, regardless if you like Biden or not.
Well, this is all accusations and alleged stuff. They're like, because they're made. And what's interesting
but you can never be too careful with some of this because you don't know.
But it says it's not unusual for the agency responsible for the president's personal safety to make staff changes during the transition period. So it's something that happens often.
Right.
However, according to the report by the Washington Post, there are particular fears this time around that some agents may be unusually politically aligned to the incumbent. This has become particularly pronounced as the Biden transition team has complained of hurdles put up by outgoing officials across the administration. So, it kind of, to me, this seems like an article to kind of just like,
I feel like it fuels the division
I was going to say
America.
Divisiveness because really they usually change up staff anyway. That's nothing. Right. It's a common thing. But they're like
here and there they do.
They're trying to like it's almost as if they're trying to get us to turn on some of the people within inside our own government, like which you kind of see going on. I see a lot of this.
Oh, absolutely.
Going on. But you see, it's like they're like saying, our Secret Service agents are compromised and they're trying to keep Donald Trump on there. So now you're putting their safety at risk.
But what can the Secret Service really do to keep Donald Trump in the White House? In my, I'm not say expertise, but like you hold no authority.
Saying, I guess what they're trying to do, maybe I'm wrong, but maybe it seems like they're trying to create this illusion that if Donald Trump was to stay, that they would protect him?
Well, I've read an article, and there might be something there where they actually told Donald Trump to, well, I'm not going to say who told him because I can't recall, but there's an article basically stating that they told Donald Trump not to rush leaving the White House because of some additional things that are coming into light with not only Joe Biden being involved with the Chinese government, but as well with Hunter Biden. And there's some things in the Ukraine thing going. Like, there's a storm brewing there.
It seems like they're changing. Like they're trying to at least. I don't know if there's an actual storm.
If there was
brewing
something
there,
if there was something there, would you not want to get rid of the staff that knows about it, such as people in the Secret Service? People inside the White House.
Good point.
I'm just saying, like, you get rid of all of them people and stock it with people that you can pay off, or just say, hey, here's a Christmas bonus of $120,000 that I got from the Chinese emperor or whoever.
But like I said, to me, it just seems like they're trying to get us to turn on our own government.
Oh, of course.
Even as far as like, so I know you've
socialism.
seen this. I've been seeing this all over social media. Everybody has. But Nancy Pelosi's house vandalized.
You know, I wasn't like, I'm surprised, but not surprised. If I was somebody like a leader of or speaker of the House, I imagine you live in a gated community. Like you know what I mean? Like you have protection staff that protects you in a way. Like I'm sure you have a driver and stuff. So
this
like,
is the weird part. I'm surprised by. First off, I'm pretty sure everybody knows about this, but apparently her home was vandalized with a pig's head, fake blood, and it apparently was alluding to anger over the stimulus package. Okay.
But I didn't see any graffiti leading to anger over the package because they covered the garage doors up.
Cancel rent.
Okay.
On the door, and it says we want everything.
Well, see, and I read that, but I read that pertaining to Mitch McConnell's vandalization.
He had similar messages.
Yeah, but I saw his vandalization on Nancy Pelosi's. Her garage door was covered with what I guess you could say like trash bag like material, you know, like tarps.
Oh no, that was after the fact.
But I never actually saw the vandalization.
Okay, so the vandalization is up. But like you said, and then you know they were like releasing a statement saying, "We need your help, finding these guys who did this."
But how can you get that close to somebody so significant in our government's home?
Well,
like they're spray painting this on their garage door.
This happened once before earlier on. There was another situation where I want to say a guy like took a shit on in her driveway, and that was caught on camera. And that was the first time. But what I want to know is like, I personally believe that this is conspiratorial. But I personally believe it's some sort of like setup. Okay, because you look at like something with the Nashville bomber, or you look at all these other crimes. They know who did it, when did it, like, and then
it's elusive. Like this guy is the most.
But they know who did it, and then they.
But you have no form of security cameras on your home with this.
Of course he does.
But I'm saying, and you have no lead.
They're saying they have no lead. That's why I don't believe this. And then if you look at some of the spelling of this stuff, so for Senator Mitch McConnell's house, right, it says Mitch kills poor. And it says, "Where's my money?" Where's is spelled W-E-R-E-S.
W-A.
It's supposed to have W-H-E.
Well, I know how to spell where's,
but there's a bunch of misspellings on these things, and I'm thinking to myself, you mean to tell me these guys can't spell what the fuck, but they knew how to find their houses and their location? Doesn't that seem kind of off a little bit?
I mean, yeah, in some
it's like you're that dumb you can't spell, but you can find out where. Because if you
it's not hard to find out.
McConnell live, I would have no idea.
I mean,
I wouldn't even know. Can you look that up? Is that even Googleable?
I mean, it probably is, but wouldn't you know? Like, couldn't you Google link that search? And there are like people that could say, "Hey, where does Nancy Pelosi live?"
There's got to be something to it, but of course, so Mitch McConnell apparently does live in Louisville. His house was vandalized this past Saturday morning. Messages were spray painted along the front of his residence in the Highlands. Yeah. So now they doxed him. I guess it's no secret. I guess it's public. Captured in the photos from a Wave 3 news reporter. The graffiti makes reference to McConnell's rejection from the Senate on providing the $2,000. So they're basically saying, we want all of our money. Where's my money? They basically...
But the public has to understand, though. Like, it does say, where's my money? This is not necessarily our money. This is money that the government's printing off. You know, like this is something that they're just issuing out. And I'm not saying that, obviously Mitch McConnell made the right choice by denying us $2K, because there are so many families out there that really do need this money. There's people literally living in their cars. There's people not knowing how long are they going to be able to continue to feed their family? You can only eat spaghetti so many nights, I mean, with no sauce type of thing. You know what I mean? You squirting ketchup on wet noodles ain't helping nobody, like, and that's basically what you're asking people, the American people, to live off of is $600 per person is not necessary. When you have a larger family, I guess it softens the blow a little bit because, if I have 4 kids and all of them are under 3 years old, they don't really need the use of $600 for a month or 2 months, like I could stretch that. But when you have teenagers or, people that need stuff for school, I mean, gas to go to work, you want to talk about people working in the economy, $600, that's gone in a matter of a day or two. I mean, instantly, especially when you're trying to catch up on a bill and you want to pay your power bill, that's $535 because you missed last month or 2 months or you're 3 months behind. You got $60 left. What are you going to do with that? How are you supposed to eat with $60 for the month, assuming you're still out of work?
Right.
I mean, like, you have to assume. I'm not saying that people need $2,000 every month or $2,000 every week or whatever it is, but maybe you can look at the people that are actually unemployed versus the people that are employed and divide, a sensible amount, a mass of that. Will it take a lot of work? Yes, but that's what the people in position are supposed to do. That's why you are elected, to put up that fight for the American people, to say, hey, these people need this money. That's what you got to do.
Right. So, interestingly enough, you were telling me earlier today about a story. Maybe you remember. I don't remember if you remember all the exact points, but it was something along the lines that they were sending a group down to D.C. to prepare for. What was that about? Do you remember what that was?
What it was is this big gathering. I mean, I know the trucker, like a lot of the truckers that drive the 18-wheelers went down not too long ago, and they had their own rally. But now it seems that the Trump train / Proud Boys, like, it's a big organizational meeting, and they're all going downtown D.C. to dispute the electoral colleges and so forth. And it looks like the governor of D.C. has already called in the National Guard for protests, and they're expecting it to get worse. And when the riots first started, for instance, way back a few months ago, it was all about division, George Floyd, division, the hashtag BLM movements. It was all of that. And people were burning down cities.
Essentially,
we haven't heard one story about these protests specifically up until now about the protests in D.C. Like, this is a new, but they've already instantly jumped to pulling in the National Guard. But why weren't we doing this back then when it was still people? They were saying, no, let them burn this town down.
Yeah.
And now they're asking for federal aid.
Scenarios.
But is it, though?
I mean,
you're still fighting for your constitutional freedoms. Black, white, orange, green.
That's true.
Period.
That's true.
It don't matter if you're doing it under...
But why are these folks going down there, whether they're fighting? Like, it's what I think the intentions are. But it's interesting. The reason why I probed you about that question is because it's actually an article that came out a few weeks ago, and I kind of tend to agree with you, because when I read this article, you can tell that there's definitely a leftist slant here.
Yes,
but
absolutely.
A few weeks ago, several members of President-elect Joe Biden's transition team set up a Zoom meeting with senior members of the Anti-Defamation League.
Is this where they cut off some of the reporters?
Well, no, that's something different.
Okay.
That's actually something different.
Okay.
We'll talk about that after. But the group that studies and tracks hate crimes, that's the Anti-Defamation League, Biden's transition team set up a Zoom meeting with the ADL to hear recommendations for fighting domestic terrorism and right-wing extremism. But where it says domestic terrorism, but why doesn't it say Antifa or left-wing ideology? Why is it domestic terrorism or right-wing extremism? But more importantly, why not just say recommendations for fighting domestic terrorism? Why did they have to throw the right-wing extremism in there?
The right wing, because that goes to continue. And people, believe it or not, the leftists have always caused divide in America. It's what they do. Every single scenario, every time an election pops up, it's always something from the left side. What was it? It was another vaccine or another not pandemic size, but Obama had an issue when he was going into office. It's every single time that this happens, we have this issue.
Hit the LB button. But it's just kind of interesting because I don't know. It's just kind of interesting with all of this. I mean, what it says here, though, the article goes on, And it goes on here. It says, in particular, Biden and his team will be taking office as anti-government militias. Neo-Nazi organizations and far-right groups like the Proud Boys continue to re-energize, thanks large part to social media and President Donald Trump, who they believe has been willing to indulge some of their even more outrageous behavior, one transition official said. Now, my point is, like, where's the condemning? I'm okay. Like, if you're gonna bash the right wing side stuff, neo Nazis and the far right groups, it's not even have the evidence because there's evidence.
But no, they say that they're extremists, like they're in violent
you
protests.
You can make those
across
arguments
the social media.
You
Where
can
do you
make
see
those
this?
arguments. There's plenty of clips.
Only
on
time
there,
I've seen them
Cowboys
fighting,
going out there,
but they're fighting
and stuff.
Antifa.
They're allegedly.
I mean,
but
of
that's
course.
my point. Why isn't Antifa in this list, or why isn't?
Because
any
Antifa's the
groups
equivalent. They're the equivalent to Proud Boys. Proud Boys are out there.
They're equivalent. They're much.
No,
less.
I mean, like, as far as left and right, they're equivalent. You know, the leftists have the Antifa side because they are. That's what they're there for. They're there to protect socialism and communism, all that garbage, whatever it is that they want to protect. All right, whatever. And then you got the Proud Boys who are freedom fighters in a sense. They know what America is like.
I think you're getting some. What do you call it? Some. What's the word I'm looking for? You're getting the biased opinion, you know, because Freedom Boy or the Proud Boys, they're no more better off than Antifa. And if you look at them, that
not necessarily. I mean,
then,
but what evidence are to say that they aren't any better than,
right.
or they are less than? I don't see them out there burning streets. I don't see them out there inciting riots.
Right. Well, maybe they're just a little bit more sneaky. And you know, I don't. And like I said, I'm
be
not
sneaky
here to
about
bash.
burning buildings as a
My
mob.
whole point is that, you know, they're going out here talking about. On here specifically calling out right-wing extremism, and there's certainly a problem with left-wing extremism in our country as well.
Yeah,
and
so
and now what's even more pissed, there's a lot of left-wingers that are pissed off that Biden was elected. They don't like Biden. There's a lot of them out there that are turning on Biden. A lot of left-wing people, especially some of these Antifa groups, they're not into Biden, and they can pose easily as right-wingers because they said that right-wing did that a lot. They were like, oh, they're posing as Antifa or whatever.
Yeah.
But it could easily be that some of these left-wing groups are out there posing as right-wingers and all this stuff. So you don't really know. It's just no point to call out these groups. You should say, these actions are wrong, whether you're left or right.
Right.
Don't matter if you're Proud Boy, Antifa, they're wrong.
Right.
So that's what it boils down to.
Right. And, I mean, like you said, it does. If you're any form, like if we call, like you say, a terrorist, foreign or domestic, it don't matter if you're foreign or domestic. Terrorism is terrorism, period. It doesn't matter one way or the other.
That's very true. But going on here, so this is where you were talking about Biden team disables chat on a virtual press conference after reporters asked some tough questions.
But it wasn't that he disabled chat. They disabled specific chats. So they allowed. So if you follow any Biden interviews, they always invite the same people. The people that just say, "Hey Biden, what's up? How you doing today?" You know, ask them these cakewalk of questions. But as soon as somebody wants to do some real reporting and hit them with a hard hit or a left hook, he's like, mute. Let me get on that Mark Zuckerberg censorship.
Well, it said they really gave priority to the New York Times, CNN, Washington Post, PBS, and Politico. They were all given the opportunity to ask questions of the team at nearly every press conference, while even mainstream media outlets like the Associated Press were shut down.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of interesting to see they're kind of already deciding who they're going to answer to, who they're not.
Well, yeah, the people in their back pockets is who they're going to answer to.
Right.
Because they know what they're going to ask.
Right. Well, then, yeah, I guess so. Well, one last thing. So this is going to kind of transition us in here into our Ghost Pepper Chip Challenge. I'm not looking forward to that.
Chip for chip?
Chip for chip.
But I just want to add one thing to the Biden thing, though. You know, how is he able, like, how can anybody be okay with him censoring or even just muting the chat of someone that's there to ask him a question? Now, if it was something that was ridiculous, like, oh, is it true that you love sniffing children? Obviously, you know, they're there being immature, whatever. It's not actual question, but they're asking you a genuine question about your transition or whatever.
Well, I will say, I mean,
we're not. Why can't
sure,
you just say we're
I
not
agree
capable
with
of
you.
answering this?
I wish I had access to what the questions were. I didn't go dig deep enough for those.
But what I'm getting into, what I was starting for is there's something similar going on outside into a foreign country currently. I spoke to you about over dinner earlier. Poland is fining Facebook and other multimedia giants $2.2 million for every time they censor somebody. It has to be unconstitutional censorship. It can't just be with fact checkers things, but it has to be physical infringe on their.
What is that?
Right. They'd probably have to take them to court every single time it happens. So it probably won't occur often, but is this something that other countries should look into adopting? Right. Where do we draw the line for somebody like a multimedia, Twitter, Facebook, IG, whatever it is, that is preventing us to exercise constitutional rights of freedom of speech?
Right. So you ever heard of this thing, since we got the haunted ghost pepper chips, have you ever heard of this thing called a ghost kitchen?
No.
A ghost kitchen.
Haunted kitchen?
Or a headless restaurant, if you will. Ghost kitchens are headless restaurants. These are businesses that don't employ a robust front house staff. They don't have seating. They don't really have a storefront. They exist solely online on the apps and websites of people like Grubhub, Uber Eats.
So is this like a DoorDash scenario?
It's like a DoorDash scenario. But basically, in the early days of online ordering, ghost kitchens were lurking undetected in the shadow. So basically, the media appears to have latched onto the term in 2015, and only to discover that the city's health department had never inspected 10% of them, meaning they didn't have the license to operate a commercial kitchen. So just to go on, basically...
But are they actually operating these kitchens? I mean, like, they're all delivery services from what it sounds like.
So what it'll be like a Chipotle, take their ingredients and stuff, and then they go set up a fake thing that's only on Grubhub. Like, you'll see these fake, like, you'll look up the restaurant and you can't find it nowhere. Yeah. You can't find a location, but it's on the app.
Okay.
So you can find these restaurants on the apps, and you're like, well, what's going on? Like, can I not, if I want to go to this place? For example, Chuck E. Cheese did this for a while. Chuck E. Cheese put up an app for a pizza delivery joint, but it was just Chuck E. Cheese pizza. But they were posing as
a third party,
but really it was
non-affiliate
just Chuck E. Cheese pizza.
Yes,
it was a way for them to try to make money during the pandemic. So, but they're sliding on the radar. So, I don't know. I don't want to break. Like, I can't dive too much. And I don't have a huge point on that. I just thought it was something interesting to share. Ghost restaurants, if you ever want to look into those, if you ever see that pop up, know that they may have not been checked by a health inspector. You don't know what's going on. There's not much into them. There's not much of a name. But it says, it just says.
But is there any tips on how to identify a ghost restaurant?
Well, when you look it up and you can't find a location, never heard of the business, that might be some key indicators. They're not on Google, stuff like that.
Okay.
You're gonna know.
So basically, stay away.
Basically,
from all of that.
It's just kind of interesting. So, we're almost an hour into the show here, so we're gonna go ahead. And prepare for the haunted ghost pepper challenge.
No preparation needed.
Oh my gosh.
There's no preparation needed.
Got the haunted ghost pepper chips, guys. And like I said, I don't know if you can see that. The thermometer maxed out. Over 1 million Scovilles. You can pick these up at local 7-Eleven. 7-Eleven if you want to hop on an advertising thing. Just slide in my DMs. Slide
real smooth, like baby oil.
So I'm going to open up the haunted ghost pepper chips. You're going first.
I got to take first chip.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. He's got to
But as soon as I eat, you got to, take it at the same time. Almost. Like, I'm going to eat, but as soon as it's in there, you're going
so we're going to go
you don't get to wait for a reaction.
All right.
It's might as well just
go ahead, grab one. It burns a little bit on my finger.
On your finger?
Just a little bit.
Damn!
Oh, they're not small.
I got a huge chip. This is 2 chips.
That's not small.
Oh, my face is burning, and it's
look at my
this
chip.
Far away.
At least you don't got the corner. It doesn't smell there. It
smells more tortilla chip.
But I'm worried. Like, look at this powder on this. I don't know if you guys can see this, but I'm going to show you guys. There's a lot of powder on the center of that chip right
Whatever he says to pacify himself for crying on stream.
All right, go ahead.
The whole chip? Or
you can do a bite.
But this is a big chip to get in there.
Yeah, just see how it is.
Yeah. 1 million Scovilles.
I know it might not even be that bad. It might be like, that ain't that bad. What are you thinking right now?
I ain't gonna let you know till you bite.
No, you gotta come through. You gotta tell us what's in your mouth. Well, I'll wait for the reaction.
What?
All right, let me dig. Oh, you're going for another chip.
I've been chip for chip.
All right, here I go.
I gotta be honest. It's not the chip that's hot. It's the building up to the hot.
I mean, instantly, I felt it.
Oh, yeah, it's there.
I'm starting to get hot.
It's there. And my forehead, I was like, damn, I need to take this hat off. It's there.
Oh, it's definitely there.
And it builds.
Oh, it builds.
Chip for chip.
Go ahead. Fuck, that's actually hot, dude.
Look at the chip. Chip for chip.
Oh, man.
Or matter of fact, wait for a video later this week. Loser, we'll do a embarrassing challenge. We'll get you to do something embarrassing for losing, for you bitching out for chip.
We'll see about that. Oh, dude,
it's gonna happen.
I'm done.
You're
I'm
done.
not doing a second chip. Nope.
Not doing a second chip?
I took a little swig. Go ahead and have a little drink.
I'm gonna go ahead.
No, go ahead and have a little drink. Go ahead. Go ahead. Tell me what you think here. Go ahead, have a little sip. Give it a second. And watch it shift in the third gear on your ass. Whew. Really, you're going for a third chip? Your face is getting a little red. You sure you want to go for a third chip?
I might get level 4. These are decent. It's a good snack.
It's a good snack?
Yeah.
Well, why don't you help yourself? There you go, pal. Dude, those things are fire. I'm done after one chip.
One chip done.
I feel like I have to force myself to eat another chip. But like the roof of my mouth and like the back of it where that saliva builds up, that shit's hot.
All right, well, go ahead and tell the folks at home that I'm the superior host.
Fuck, man. I'm starting to get... Dude, I only have one chip, and it seems like it's intensifying. I mean, one chip, and it's intensifying.
I don't know. I'm on like 4 or 5.
Jeez, guys.
It's a good snack.
Well, I guess this is how it goes. Well, I guess here it is, Haunted Ghost Pepper. Go get them at the local store.
I recommend it. It's a good snack.
Or something.
I don't recommend it if you don't normally eat spicy things, but like if you don't normally go to like a restaurant that serves hot wings and you get the mild
so
or the medium,
this is what I'm
don't
gonna
get
do.
this.
Since
starting to
you
heat
talk
up.
trash, we're gonna go to the 1.5 mil. I'm gonna get the Paqui one chip challenge kit.
Each.
No, just one kit. Yeah, no, I can't even handle the one chip. So you think I'm gonna let you keep, like I'm gonna buy two so I can go die? No. I'm gonna pass. I'm surprised you ate that many. I'm not gonna lie. They're kind of hot.
They're low. I didn't say they won't hot. I just said it's a good snack.
Okay, fair enough. I'm surprised you ate that many though. I'm like, damn.
It's a good snack.
All right, they're probably like, dude, why are you crunching into the mic?
I'm crunching. I'm going down on this.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to wrap up this evening's episode. I want to thank everybody so much for tuning in. Help us get to 100 subs. That's the goal.
And share it.
Yeah.
More importantly,
people
share
can
it to your Facebook.
Yeah, if you enjoyed it and you had
Just share it out there.
you liked the video, like some of the topics, we're going to,
It's
so this week, we're
done
definitely
Elzard
going
me.
to do some, huh?
said they done Elzard me. Bam! Kick it up a notch.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You have a little sip of that drink and
They
kicks
done
it up.
Elzard my ass.
But not to get too far derailed, we're gonna continue to make some good content here. Hopefully, this wasn't too bad for you guys. I enjoyed it. However, we really focused on stepping up some of the camera shots and things like that. We're working on
And getting
making the
in-house
production
together, I think
vibe.
it helps.
What's that?
I said getting together also in-house. Like I think it adds a little bit to the chemistry feel of just speaking to
both
one
of
another.
us on screen. Yeah,
We're able to
that's
do
different.
little
Yeah,
things
we took
like
away the
this,
Zoom
and
call.
so we're able to do things like this. And
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
I
going to
think
make it
helps.
fun. And so the production value is only going to get better from this point out. I think each week you're going to see a little bit better production value. By the end of the month, we should be through all of the steps of having all the right equipment in place. I'm really looking forward to making the show much better. You living over there? How you living?
I told you I got Elzard.
Elzar. What is Elzar?
You ain't never seen Elzar from Futurama, the chef? He's got the weasel, and he goes, bam, kick it up a notch.
I thought that was Emerald Magazine.
No, Emerald does like he's actual food host, but no, his name's Elzar.
You gonna make it?
I mean, if we can end the show, I can go get a glass of milk.
Keep rolling. All right, so we're gonna talk for another 20 minutes here so we can just keep that flame just burning, keep them on camera.
Go ahead, chip for chip. If you keep it a stream goal, you better get chip for chip.
I'm done. But make sure you guys help us reach that goal of 100 subs. It'd be great.
It would mean a lot.
Again, if you can smash that like button, if you enjoyed the video, certainly mean it. Please share this with your friends. Any suggestions? Remember, if you have any ideas on comments or on topics or anything like that, reach out to us. I'll definitely definitely respond to any comments. We definitely want to be interactive. You know what? Let's drag it out a little longer.
I think I'll find another topic here.
Yeah,
Work another topic here.
Pull up an extra topic.
Well, we had some Class B topics we could talk about. But no, we cannot.
All right, we're wrapping it up. All right,
That's a wrap.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It's been a pleasure being your host, Jay. Thanks for coming on.
Indeed, it's been a pleasure.
Keep tuning in. Make sure you tune in and subscribe to us and hit notifications. Turn those notifications on so you'll get an episode every week. That way you're going to know every time we make changes to the podcast, you'll stay up to date. Thanks so much for tuning in to the K2 Podcast. We're going to see you next week on Monday.
Yeah.
All right, take care. Have a great night.